Hi there. In today's Webflow tutorial, what we're going to do is create a navigation bar. It's always good to have a navigation bar so that way your users can know where to go. Webflow does offer templates, but I figured you would like to learn how to create a navigation bar from scratch. So let's go ahead. The first thing we're going to do is make sure in the navigator that body is selected. Then I'm going to add a div block. We're going to name the div block DT nav. And DT is just short for desktop because when you're making a navigation bar, it's going to be different from the desktop, tablet, and mobile. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is set the background to gray 1. The next thing we're going to do is add a container. So let's name it nav container. With the navigation container still selected, we're going to set it to a flex and we're going to set it to left center. So the next thing we're going to do is click on DT nav within the navigator and we're going to click and hold and drag it all the way up. Make sure it's below the body element. And we're going to fan this out and click on the nav container again. The next element we're going to add is a link block. So let's go ahead and add a link block. And we're going to call it nav link. Perfectly set right there. And then with the link block still selected, what we're going to do is set the padding to 1 rem all around. We're going to make sure that the decor is set to none and the font color in typography is going to be black. Now make sure nav link is still selected because we're going to add a text block. There we go. And we're going to set the size of it to 20 pixels. And we're going to give it a height of 30 pixels. There we go. And the default color is perfectly fine. So the next thing we're going to do is add a hover animation within this navigation link right here. So click on the link block, nav link. That's the class we're going to focus on. And what we're going to do is click on this drop down and click hover. Now what we're going to do is scroll down to background and we're going to change it to white. Then we're going to go ahead back to this drop down button right here. We're going to click none. So what happens is whenever we hover, boom, it changes color. Now you're probably wondering, why did I have to click on none? Well, if you click on hover, it's just going to stay that way and you won't be able to see the animation in action. So I just select none. There you go. And before we move on, the one thing I forgot to do is let's click on text block right here and we're going to set it to bold. That way it's easier to see. Looks nicer already. Okay, what we're going to do is start to copy and paste the nav link right here. We're going to copy and paste that, let's see, 4 times. All I'm doing is just using the copy and paste command on the keyboard. Then within each navigation block, all we have to do is change the text. So what you can do is click on a text block, and then you can click on settings. So whatever you see me type on the screen, that's what you're going to type as well. So what we're going to do now is simply add IDs to these sections. Let me go ahead and just minimize this right here. So when you add an ID to something, it really helps with creating a navigation bar. The first thing we're going to do is click on the landing class. And as you can see in the settings, if you're in style, you're going to go to settings and you're going to see something called ID. For landing, I'm just going to call it home. And I like to focus on using just lowercase letters for giving IDs. So this one's going to be home for landing. And then tour, that's already set from our previous video. That's perfectly fine. And the reason why it was already set was because we set up this link block right here. For contact, I'm going to call it contact. Here we go. And for footer, obviously we're going to leave that alone because you don't really need a footer for that. But if you want to, you can just go ahead and just put footer. There you go. Okay, let's go to the navigation right here. And what you want to make sure you're doing is just clicking on the nav block, the link, the nav link, excuse me, because you don't want to click on the text. You want to click on the link. And what we're going to do is in the settings, we're going to set it to page and home. Now, the reason why it's set to page home is because this is the main page. And if you click on the pages button, we have a home right there. Then what we're going to do for tour dates is something a little bit different. What I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and click on this publish button. And then what you're going to do is make sure staging is checked on. And how it works is it's very unique within Webflow because Webflow allows you to have staging websites, which is really great. So this is what we're going to do. Just make sure this is checked on. Click publish to select the domains. Okay. Now we have a published stage version of our website. Now, this varies depending on what you named your project. So I'm going to give you an example. So if you look at the top portion of the URL, the one that's just fully yellow, that just says, name of the project.webflow.io. Mine is called this right here, right? And then webflow.io. It's very important that you copy and paste the URL. So I'll show you how to do that right here. Let me just switch the screen. Okay. So I'm going to click this arrow right here. Now we have a staged version of the website. This is how it looks. What we're going to do is go ahead and I'm going to click on this, copy it, and then I'm going to just exit out. The reason why you want to exit out is because when you click on publish again, you want to make sure you go to the updated version of your publication. Click close. Okay, so assuming you already copied the URL of your stage website and put it on a text editor, make sure you paste it. So what I did was I took the link to the staged version of the website, and what I did was I pasted the URL twice. Now, remember the IDs we created for tour and contact? What you want to do is just paste the URL twice, and then at the very end of the URL where it shows .io /, what we're going to do is just put hashtag or the # tour, and the same goes for the next URL. Obviously your URL is going to be different from mine because this is the name of the project I put up. So make sure, and obviously no spaces at all, and there's case sensitivity. So again, just to recap, I pasted the URL on a text editor, Then I pasted the same URL twice, and at the / after IO, I made sure I put hashtag or # tour, and same thing for contact. So make sure you have that saved up on a text editor. With Webflow now open, what we're going to do is click on the tour dates link block. It's important that the nav link is selected, and it's for tour dates right there. Then make sure the settings tab is open. Since we already have the URL right here open, make sure that's right there. What I'm going to do is go ahead and copy the web address and paste it right here. Take that off. There we go. It's all set. And I'm not going to use open a new tab. We're not going to need that. And we're going to do the same thing for contact. So click on contact. I'm just going to do the old copy and paste. All right, that's set. If you click on contact or tour dates and you're on the home page, what's going to happen is it's just going to scroll down, really. But if you're in the about page, which is a separate page altogether, what's going to happen is if you click on about and blog, it'll take you directly to that section and into that page. Okay, so we're going to click on the nav link where home is. And we're going to set it to page, and it's already set to home. Okay. Tour dates is set, about and blog. We're going to work on about and blog later in the video, but one moment. Music and merch. We're going to work on that in another tutorial. Okay, so for about and blog, what we're going to do is simply go to pages, and we're going to click right here, create a new page, and click create a new page. And for page name, just put about. Okay, then click on create. Perfect. Now you're on the new page. What we're going to do is just leave this alone for now. We'll set this up another video. But for now, click on the pages button, click on home, then click on the about and blog link block, that is. You can tell what you're using because if I click on the text, notice the settings tab is going to change. But if I click on the link block, there we go. So click on page, and then we're going to choose the page. Oh boy, I screwed up something here. Hold on. Oops. You fix that right there. All right, that's better. Okay. Just to recap, we got home. That's going to be the page. We set up the link. Okay, perfect. About. So what we can do, click about. There we go. We're going to leave this alone. I got a cool tutorial about that later. Contact. Okay, that's it. And then what we're going to do is click on publish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to test all of these except for about and blog and merch. The reason why I'm not going to test about and blog is because I'm not 100% ready to use the navigation bar to set it up as a component. And I'll show you that in a future video. But I just want to show you what happens. So I'm going to click on the arrow. And then if I click on tour dates, it's going to take me to tour. And if I click on contact, it'll take me to contact. And if I click on home, it's just regular home. And check this out. Boom. Okay, that looks great. Perfect. And I will see you in the next tutorial.